Go ahead.
My name is Ron Thorne. I live at 2389 West Bonanza Court. We've lived here for about 38 years, and prior to that, we lived in Horseshoe Circle on lot number 3. We lived there for about 10 years, 1974 to 1984.
Lot number 3.
Lot number 3.
Okay. So, Ron, you were there from the beginning of Horseshoe Circle, basically. And when you put up your home, did you go through an ACC, an Architectural Control Committee, to submit plans for your home or your buildings?
Never. No, did not do that.
So you saw other people put up a lot of outbuildings. To your knowledge, did anybody ever go through an Architectural Control Committee?
Never. A lot of them just built buildings without permits even. We were part of Salt Lake County, not part of South Jordan City. Salt Lake County is what we were involved with for a building permit. They were pretty lax. We were in a farming area, and most of the people that built buildings, I don't think they ever took out building permits.
And as you look around the circle, go to your next door lot, lot number 3. Can you point to that for me? Hold that up and point to lot 3. Okay. And lot 3,
That was my lot.
that was your lot.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, point to lot 2.
Okay.
So lot 2 is there. That was Steve Stringham originally, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And
He built his own home.
he built his own home. He built the back building. And he operated part-time his photography studio out of there, correct?
Yeah, he did.
So he had people coming and going.
Yes.
Across the street from lot 2 is lot 9, which is where Brinkhurst lived.
Yes,
And Brinkhurst built those big back buildings.
that's correct. He was a brick mason. He operated his business out of his home, definitely. Had employees in and out constantly.
Vehicles, trucks.
Large vehicles, trucks.
Okay. Nobody ever complained.
No.
And then Brinkhurst sold to a guy named Charlie Brown. Was Charlie Brown around when you lived there?
I don't know that name.
Okay. So let's go down to lot number 12. Down on the bottom, if you can hold that up and point to that for me. Okay, and that was where Dwayne Flukiger built, correct?
Yes.
Now, you told me he owned several lots originally.
Yeah, he owned lots here, and then he owned lots in the back on Bonanza, on the other Bonanza number 2. This was Bonanza 1, and I think we were either Bonanza 2 or Bonanza 3 on the back, but he owned 3 lots here, and then he owned 3 lots in the back. He had about six, actually, I think in the beginning he had about 10 acres.
So you almost lived across the street from him, really.
Yeah, we did.
And so you saw from time to time work trucks or employees come in and out of his buildings?
Yeah, he had large buildings. He had big buildings back there. I think they were mostly work trucks. They were not construction, or they're not caterpillars or backhoes. They were just work trucks.
Okay. And to your knowledge, he never went through an ACC either?
For sure, he did not.
For sure he did not. Okay. And then the next lot is lot 13, which was Hal Larson, originally, correct?
Yes.
And Hal was one of the original founders of the Circle.
He was one of the developers.
And he also was one of the original Architectural Control Committee members.
Yes.
But he never asked you, or to your knowledge, anybody else to ever submit plans.
No, we never ever submitted any plans.
So he never worried about what people were putting up or what they did.
No, because he had animals and was in construction and was parking vehicles, and he was a builder developer.
So he had employees coming in and out all the time.
Yeah, I think back in the day when Horseshoe Circle was built in '74, people moved there because of those reasons. We were part of the county, and it was pretty lax, and you could kind of do what you wanted to do.
Okay, so then let's look up at lot 19. And if you can open that up, the original owner in the back page on lot 19. Up on the top there. There you go. And do you remember what his name was?
His name was Robert Kuhn.
And you said he ran a business out of his property as well?
Yeah, he was a contractor.
So he was in
Built his own home. Lived there for a few years, then moved back east.
Okay. So with all these lots, even while you lived there, you saw a lot of buildings go up, including back buildings, correct?
Yes.
And to your knowledge, as you said before, no one ever submitted to an ACC or was asked to ever submit.
Not that I know of. I don't know of anybody that ever did that. We certainly did not. It was a rural area. The developer was in violation probably. Everybody just had outbuildings for animals or construction purposes, storage or outbuildings.
So would you say, based on all the people that you knew and all the business operations going on and all the buildings being put up, that all of you probably considered that the covenants had been abandoned?
Obviously, yes. I never saw any restrictive covenants.
Never, as a neighborhood, ever met about it?
No.
Okay. And can you think of anybody else maybe in that circle that you might remember?
Ron Savage, he had a large building in his backyard. They owned a large gravel pit, Pioneer Sand and Gravel.
And what lot number was he on?
He was on lot number
16?
16 or 15, lot 16.
Yeah, lot 16, according to
Okay.
the county. So he ran his business out of there too?
Yeah.
Trucks, employees?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. Okay, Ron, any other thoughts or comments about the Architectural Control Committee or abandonment of the covenants?
There wasn't a committee to my knowledge.
Okay, and nobody paid attention to the covenants at all?
I think everybody moved there knowing that they could have animals, they could build buildings, they could not be bothered with anybody. It was just kind of a rural community back in the early 70s. Nothing going on in South Jordan. It was one of the only subdivisions that was built, and they were all 2-acre lots.
So you only live really a stone's throw away on the backside on Bonanza Way, correct?
Yes,
And so in all the years that you've lived in that proximity, and you live in the stake as well,
Yes.
so have you been aware of any type of action to enforce the covenants ever, or the Architectural Control Committee?
No. When we built here in '84, this home, nothing was ever done. They didn't really care.
Okay. Okay, Ron, and what was your profession when you were working full-time?
Beginning, I was a school teacher for 10 years. Then eventually I became a builder. I've been a builder for about 30 years, retired 10 years ago.
And you built your own home on lot number 3, correct?
That's correct,
And then I think, as you stated before, you operated your business with employees, vehicles as well.
Yes.
Okay. All right, any other thoughts or comments?
No, backhoe and dump truck also there.
Okay. All right, thank you, Ron.